Today I am going to show you 4 exercises that are going to help set your entire off season up for success. Let's go. Welcome back to Goalie Training Pro TV. I am Maria Mountain. I'm a certified exercise physiologist who specializes in off-ice training for hockey goalies, which means I help you win more games with fewer injuries. And today I'm sharing with you 4 exercises that should definitely be in the first phase of your off-season training. So let's get started with some hip flexor activation. We're going to work on our deep hip flexors here. So a key ingredient for this exercise is making sure you get your knee as high as your belly button. And we're going to take our opposite hand. So I've got my right knee up here. I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to push that hand into my knee. And as I'm pushing my knee into my hand, my other leg is straight and I'm kind of reaching with that leg. That's going to help keep my pelvis centered or keep it in a neutral position. I'm not going to push as hard as I can, maybe 60% of the effort. And I'm going to push for 1, 2, 3, relax. 1, 2, 3, relax. Make sure as you go through this exercise that you're not letting that knee drift away. We want it up as high as your belly button or higher if you can, so that we're targeting that deep hip flexor, not the rectus femoris, which is also a quadricep muscle. The reason that's important is it's the one that sort of helps you recover your skate underneath you when you're coming out of your butterfly to get a nice explosive push. And sometimes we overuse that quadricep muscle that can also flex our hip. So we just want to make sure that that's working. Also get your abdominal obliques firing a little bit too. So great early off-season exercise. You're going to do 6 repetitions on each side with a 3-second push for 2 sets. The next one you're going to do is a side plank from your elbow and your knee. So I just have a little cushion underneath my elbow because I'm a delicate flower. But we're going to go from our knee because sometimes when we go from our ankle, what's getting the most fatigued is our shoulder actually. And I really want to give your abdominal obliques a chance to get a good sort of muscle endurance stimulus. So we're going to hold this for 60 to 90 seconds. We can do it like this with this leg straight and resting on the floor. If you want to make it a lot more challenging, you can just lift that foot up off the ground. But you want to be holding for 60 to 90 seconds. And when you start out, if 60 seconds is too much in the beginning, chop it up. Chop it up into 4 times 15 seconds or 2 times 30 seconds. Find what works for you, but your goal is to get 60 to 90 seconds on each side. So we've done hip flexor activation, we've done some muscular endurance for our torso. Next, we're gonna work on some hip mobility. So we're gonna just do a side lying hip cars. This knee is bent just to give me a little bit of balance and stability. I can put this hand on the floor. Some people will grab, like put a 20 or 25 pound dumbbell in front of them and hold that. You can do that. I don't feel it adds a whole lot. But I'm gonna bend this knee and we're gonna do our hip cars. So I'm trying to trace as big a circle as I can with my knee, and doing it in this side lying position, it kind of helps stabilize my torso. So I don't have to do a lot of active stabilization. I can really isolate my hip. But as I go through, this is one of those ones where I imagine that my leg is in a bucket of thick, thick honey. So I'm generating some tension to move through that. You can see I'm a little herky-jerky as I go because I'm trying to create tension. I'm not just doing a hip circle. You know, I'm making it hard, like I'm moving against a resistance. So I'll do 2 going one way, and then I'll do 2 going the other way, but trying to get as much range of motion as possible each time. Now, sometimes when you get up in here, in this range, you'll feel a little pinch in your groin. It's not the worst thing, but I don't really love it. So you might have to change your range of motion. Instead of coming right in as close as you can up in here, you might have to stay out here a little bit more so that you're not getting that pinch or discomfort. You shouldn't have discomfort when you do these. But it'll be 2 this way, 2 the other way on each side. I've got one more exercise for you, but first of all, I want to talk about where this fits in. This fits in your early off-season phase. So as soon as your season ends, you're going to take a 2-week unloading phase if you can. If you have a tryout in a week or whatever, you might have to modify that a bit. But ideally, it's a 2-week unloading phase. And it's not something we do just, oh, you must be tired, to be nice to you. It's your body and your brain needs that recovery. And if you're following a proper off-season program, by the time you get to the 3rd week of July, you are going to be wishing you had taken these 2 weeks to unload and recover and just get a mental break. The goalies that I work with, usually we keep working on our mobility during the unloading phase just to keep a hand on it, not to regress at all. But otherwise, there's no structured training. So the goalies I work with, I let them, you can play tennis if you want, you can be active, go out, ride your bike, play golf, whatever it is, just no structured training. So 2-week unloading phase, and then these exercises will slot in to your first off-season phase or your off-season base phase. And that off-season base phase lasts about 3 to 4 weeks. And it's, if you remember that I talk about my inside-out approach. So the small, deep stabilizers have to be working before we start building massive strength in the big prime movers. So that's where this fits in, doing some activation, improving the mobility, working on your core stamina so that we're laying a nice foundation for everything else to come the rest of the off season. I'm interested to know if your season's ended, have you already taken your unloading phase? Are you in your base phase? Do you have your base phase exactly mapped out for you? Drop a comment below. Let me know where you're at in your end of season, off season transition. And if you need my help, you're not exactly sure, like I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to do for all these different phases of the off season, then just check out the link in the description to see how I can help you out with that. Now let's get back to the next exercise. Your next exercise is a rock back super dog. So it's a glute activation exercise. We want the knee flexed because we want to put the hamstrings in a shortened position so that they aren't in a position to do this hip extension. We really want your glutes doing that work. The downside is you may get a big hamstring cramp when you try to do this. If you get a hamstring cramp when you try to do this, that tells you pretty loud and clear, actually my body really wants to use my hamstring and not my glute. So just, if that happens, ease off, relax. You might maybe try doing it without your knee quite so bent, and you'll have to build your way up to get it. It's called synergistic dominance. So your synergist, your helper muscle, becomes the dominant muscle. So don't worry about it, but we also want to fix it so that you're not overusing your hamstrings. So I'm holding that lacrosse ball behind my knee, and then it's a super dog rock back. So see how I'm rocked back on this leg. So this thigh, if you can see, is actually pointing, it's hard to see, my arm's in the way, is actually pointing forward. So I'm not here on my fours like that. I'm sitting back in this hip. And then I have my hands to support me, and I'm going to extend that hip or that knee off the ground. Hold for 1, 2, 3, come back down. Extend 1, 2, 3, using my glute, come back down. And I'm going to do 6 on each side. And that's also for 2 sets. Do you want a bonus exercise? Give me a thumbs up if you want a bonus exercise. Oh wait, if I get 10 thumbs up in the next 30 seconds, next 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How many do we get? Ooh, 12. Okay, I'll give you the bonus exercise. It is the wall slide, but as the name suggests, we're gonna have to go to the wall. So this next one is the wall slide. So when we do the wall slide, we want to stand with our bum, our shoulder blades, and our head touching the wall. And we want to have sort of a neutral spine. So be careful, because if you lack shoulder external rotation or you lack thoracic spine extension, you might find yourself really hyperextending your back. So if you can kind of reach through, your back is that far off the wall, you probably are compensating by extending through your lumbar spine. So pull your ribs down, keep tight abdominals. You're going to bring your elbows just to touch the wall. Your elbows are bent at 90 degrees. And then we're just going to rotate back. And our idea is we want to get our wrists flat on the wall. So don't do that and touch your fingertips. You want to get your wrists flat on the wall. You're going to hold again for 1, 2, 3. Come down. Maybe your jerseys will get in the way too. 1, 2, 3. Come down. And as I do that, I'm trying to stay relaxed here. I don't want to get all hunched up. Just go as far as you comfortably can. For a lot of you, you're going to do 6 repetitions for 2 sets. For a lot of you, that's going to be like, oh, that's really, really hard. Like, and when I ran my Hockey Strong program all summer long, like we would do like brutal exercises, and that would be the one that they'd all hate. They'd be like, oh, I hate this one. Some of you will do it and you'll be like, I don't get it. Like, is this supposed to be hard? And you'll have no problem. If that's you, then you can put your wrists on the wall, keep your good neutral back position, and then slide your forearms up and down the wall over a count of about 3 up and 3 down. So let's go over those exercises again. We started with supine, oblique, hip flexor activation. We did 2 sets of 6 on each side with a 3-second hold. Then we went on to side plank from our elbow and our knee with an option to do a leg lift. And our goal is to build up to 2 sets of 60 to 90 seconds on each side for that. Then we did side lying hip cars. We did 2 clockwise and 2 counterclockwise. I might have just done the wrong arrows, but you get the idea. Making sure that you're generating tension with the muscles around that joint as you move through the range of motion. It's not just doing circles. Your next exercise is a rock back SuperDog. And finally, for the bonus, I gave you the wall slide, which will make some of your shoulders want to scream and explode, and others will be like, I don't get it. Why is this even a thing? But for that, you're also going to do 2 sets of 6 repetitions with a 3-second hold. Now, you may have gathered, but just in case, this is not a complete workout. This is not your entire off-season base workout, but these are exercises that should be included in your off-season base. And again, if you're just lost, like, I don't really know exactly what I should do or how long my phases should be, or what each different phase should focus on, then check out the link in the description to see how I can help you and give you step-by-step blueprints on that. But whatever you do, please don't make the mistake of just thinking, okay, well, I need to be stronger, and just going into the gym and starting to lift strong, because that is a recipe for injury. I saw it all the time. I worked 5 years at the Fowler Kennedy Sport Medicine Clinic as the exercise specialist, and we'd see hockey players come in, about 6 weeks into their off season, who just and they're so motivated. I don't blame you. They went in and they started lifting hard, and they were getting stronger, and so they lifted more and more, and they've created a tendinosis. So the muscle got strong faster than the connective tissue could get strong. So now they created a weak link in their connective tissue, like their tendons, and that's how they've generated a tendinosis for themselves. So please don't make that mistake. Take the time to build that foundation with your base phase. Again, if you're still lost on what are these phases? Do we have to have phases? Can I just do the same thing I always do? Check out this video where I walk you through all the different phases of your off-season training, and that'll point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I will catch you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Don't forget to give me a like, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, hit the bell. See ya.